The ocean is an ominous place. It is a place of great allure and great uncertainty. We know not what dwells beneath the depths or what the passage of time might have concealed underneath the glittering waves. A mere estimated 5% of the ocean has been discovered. Fallen civilisations, mythological beings, or even proof of alien technology may be hidden down in the dark, murky abyss of the Earth's seas. Besides, anything goes on international waters. It is difficult to determine which nation should take charge of missing persons cases that occur on cruise ships and boats. Missing people are typically assumed dead, forever resting at the bottom of the sea with the other undiscovered mysteries. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 mysteries and discoveries of the ocean. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. Over the decades, many things have been found in the depths. Grand ships lost to time, such as the infamous RMS Titanic, sunken volcanic islands, and a myriad of obscure objects. The Baltic Sea has been a place of intrigue due to many findings of lost ships and forgotten vessels. These discoveries provide us with valuable insight into bygone eras. A researcher responsible for finding many ships explained, there are hundreds of Viking ships out there, hundreds of old trading ships, hundreds of warships. The Baltics are an archaeological paradise. With such rich findings, it's only to be expected that, eventually, they would come across something unusual. In between Sweden and Finland, the Swedish Ocean Explorer archaeology team were scavenging the depths for shipwrecks. Instead, they captured an indistinct sonar image of something disc-like and unnatural laying deep underneath the surface. One of the crew members stated, "I have been doing this for nearly 20 years, so I have seen a few objects on the bottom of the sea. However, nothing like this." The sonar revealed a cylindrical shape with a 60-meter diameter with a tail of 400 meters. The cylindrical object laid 200 meters under the sea's surface. Peter Lindberg, a member of the team, said, "We've heard lots of different kinds of explanations. The issue lies with the unreliability of the sonar scan. The scan is one-sided, and thus it is difficult to determine whether the object is something profound or a simple geological formation." Peter Lindberg explained, "We wanted to look into it some more and decided to keep this totally quiet. We contacted geologists, marine biologists, and when they said they had never seen anything like this, of course, more thoughts were triggered." The discovery was baffling. The disk might very well date back to the late glacial period, about 140,000 years ago. A professor at Stockholm University, Volker Bruchert, stated his theory as to the origins of this object. "My hypothesis is that this structure was formed during the Ice Age, thousands of years ago, which would make it a geological formation." Many scholars share this opinion, and yet prevailing theories of UFOs and mysterious otherworldly devices remain as top explanations in the eyes of the people. The Cassina coal boat. On April 10, 1990, a snapper boat set off on a fishing expedition in the Atlantic Ocean. For the majority of the previous month, the ship had been undergoing maintenance, and on the second day of the expedition, at allegedly 4:30 a.m., one of the crew members, Nathan, noticed that there was something wrong with the ship. It was stagnant and churning forward in a worryingly unstable manner. Brothers Nathan and the captain Billy Joe Neesmith discovered a store of water in the hold and the pumps were no longer running. The power went out and any attempts to get help through the radio were futile. Nathan woke up the other 2 crew members, Keith Wilkes and Franklin Brantley, who attempted to gather and pour the water overboard using buckets, but this failed as the boat continued to sink deeper into the waves. Captain Neesmith ordered for the ship to be abandoned since they would not be able to salvage it. Fortunately, they had a raft on board, which they all decided to board, but the raft was run down and had not been adequately cared for during the ship's maintenance, and a fungus had gotten into the wood, rotting it from within. The raft was small, and the 4 men struggled to fit onto it. They floated upon the waves until the hull of their sunken boat drifted towards them. Nathan decided to attempt riding on the hatch drifting nearby, despite the pleas from his fellow crew members to remain on the raft. They had no way of knowing what would happen if touching the shipwreck was safe, not to mention they feared the possibility of being split up on the vast, dark ocean. Nathan swam until he reached the submerged hull, but the dark dusk concealed his vision of the raft. By the morning of April 12th, he saw a freighter in the distance which circled around his crewmates for several hours, but the freighter never came for him. Fate seemed grim for Nathan, but then the ship's bait box broke off and he saved himself by turning it into a raft just before the whole boat sunk into the Atlantic. He was rescued on April 15th, 1990, terribly sunburnt and on the verge of death from dehydration. He hoped to be reunited with his crewmates, but this chance never arrived because, despite a search by the US Coast Guard, his 3 crewmates were missing. Nathan believes that the freighter which saved them dropped them off in a different nation. Oneida, the sister of Nathan and Captain Billy Joe Neesmith, received a strange call from someone speaking Spanish, but the only thing she understood was her name and phone number before the caller hung up. The owner of the snapper boat, Mr. Tyson, received a similar call from someone speaking broken English. Oneida and Tyson received 3 more calls between them until 1991, when the caller said, "I am bringing them home," in comprehensive English. Oneida stated in her testimony that the caller must have been a Spanish-speaking native from another country who found or befriended the 3 crew members. The 3 men, Billy Joe Neesmith, Keith Wilkes and Franklin Brantley, are still lost at sea and have officially been declared deceased. Despite this, the strange calls suggest they were alive and on their way home. Since then, there has been no contact at all with either Mr. Tyson or Oneida. Despite the fact 30 years have now passed, their families still pray for their safe return. The man left ashore. September 8th, 1863. A man was found ashore on the beach of Sandy Cove with both his legs amputated. The man was taken in by the local Acadians who gave him the name Jerome. He was mute. The locals helped him out of Christian charity, but due to the lack of communication and his severe disability, all his decisions were made for him, and he was unable to speak for himself. Jerome lived for 42 years with the Dedier-Comiau family. Sir Beth Dedier took care of him and nursed him, and he became an honorary member of their family, even watching the Comiau children grow up. His life with them was simple, for his amputation made it impossible for him to be independent or to do manual work most men did. He would wake up, stare out the window, or go into the sun in the summer, and eat meals with the family and sleep. Jerome passed away in 1912 and was buried in the Catholic cemetery of Metighan along St. Mary's Bay in Nova Scotia. Decades passed and various individuals claimed they knew who Jerome was. Many believed the man to be Italian, perhaps a mutilated nobleman who kept his silence to save himself from political rivals. Another theory was that he was an Italian naval officer, injured on board and cruelly abandoned by his crewmates. Those who cared for him claimed he would sometimes utter Colombo and Trieste, further proving that he was Italian. Some, however, believed him to be Jeremiah Mahoney, an Irish immigrant who emigrated from Ireland to escape his family. Theories were abundant. Another theory claimed him to be Gamby the Frozen Man. Gamby was found in 1859 on a logging trail in New Brunswick and cared for in the parish of Chipman. His legs were amputated due to gangrene in the spring of 1861. The taxpayers of the village paid to have the man removed in 1863 because caring for him was too expensive. They believed Gamby to be Italian. The sequence of events and similarities in the story makes many people believe Gamby and Jerome to be the same person. Jerome never spoke enough to reveal the truth about himself. The ocean has served to be a place of intrigue, terror, and fascination for millennia. It is the great unknown. The only thing we truly know is that we don't know most of what is hidden away in the impossible to traverse depths. Lost artifacts from ancient civilizations, proof of alien technologies, missing shipwrecks, and the forgotten bodies of those lost at sea under inexplicable circumstances may all very well be floating in the internal abyss of the seas, concealed from our sight. Are we fated to discover more of our oceans in the future, or are we fated to never find out the truth at all? Only time will tell. But what do you make of these ocean mysteries and discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.